book lovers, Kaylee here, and welcome back to the Enchanted Library. And I thought, considering I have been on BookTube for about 11 months now, I think it's about time I did my own original tag. So today, where I'm at, we sort of just got our first big snowfall of the season, which is crazy. I feel like this happened way too early, but I figured I would put on my cozy sweater, like the softest sweater in the history of the universe, and do a tag. A few good things about weather like this is that it's perfect reading weather, but also every weather is perfect reading weather. Anyway, you can have tea, hot chocolate, it's almost time to start decorating for Christmas, but also another thing that is really fun to do when the weather is chilly like this is play board games. I have always loved board games, and I thought that I would meld two things that I love together into this tag and do the books and board games tag. So this tag has 10 different prompts, each based on a board game, and you have to pick a book that matches well with that prompt. I'm not going to be too strict on guidelines here, so whatever shouts out to you and whatever feels right to you for an answer, go for it. And I haven't seen anybody do it yet. So without further ado, let's get to prompt number 1. Board game number 1 is arguably my favorite board game, so let's just start awesome. And that is Clue. And the prompt for Clue is a mystery or detective book. Now I'm gonna go pretty basic with this one because as soon as I thought Clue, there was no other book that I could pick, because it just had to be the classic Sherlock Holmes, and this is my complete collection of the most popular works of Sherlock by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and he is the epitome of detective, so I had to pick this as my answer. And the next board game on my list is Risk, and that is to pick a book with some epic battles. And the book that I chose for this prompt is actually the first book in a series because the series itself has so many amazing epic battles, and that is this Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind. And the first book that I have here is Wizard's First Rule. And this series is massive. It is a long, massive series that I absolutely adore, and it has some amazing epic battles in it, so this was the perfect choice for me. Board game number 3 is Monopoly, and the prompt for this one is to pick a book that's all about the money. The book I chose for this prompt is one that I read earlier this year, and that is My Not So Perfect Life by Sophie Kinsella. And this is a contemporary chick lit book, and it's definitely all about the money because this follows a girl who is trying to make it seem like she has it all, but she really doesn't, and she just has to rework her life, and it's such a fun story that if you haven't picked this one up yet, definitely do. It is a light, fluffy read, but it is so entertaining, and it is definitely money focused. Board game number 4 is Battleship, and the prompt for this one is On the High Seas. And the book that I chose for this one is These Rebel Waves by Sarah Rosh. I read this book, it came out in August, and I've already read it 3 times because I'm trash for this book. It is absolutely amazing. Board game number 5 is a classic, and that is chess. And the prompt for this one that I chose is pick a strategic character. The character that I chose for this prompt is one that honestly centuries will not stop her from being strategic, and I think that she is one of the most strategic characters that exists, and that is Claire from the Outlander series. So she was just the perfect choice for this because honestly, centuries and she's still being strategic. It's non-stop with her. So she was just the perfect choice for this prompt. Board game number 6 is Sorry, and the prompt for this one is a book that owes you an apology. There are many books that I feel like owe me an apology, but the one that sticks with me the most is Atonement by Ian McEwan, because this book absolutely destroyed me at the end. I was just flabbergasted as I was reading it. I had to reread a certain paragraph just to make sure that I understood what exactly was happening and what the implications were, and it just blew my mind. But I am still reeling from this story, and I read it like 10 years ago, so I think that this one really owes me an apology because it has just destroyed me for a decade. The next board game that I have here is Pandemic, and the prompt for this one is an apocalyptic read. I feel like there are just so many apocalyptic books to choose from that I took this one, even though I made the prompt, I took it a little bit further and I tried to go with something where there was some sort of virus involved as well. So I ended up picking Partials by Dan Wells. And this is a YA book that I read a really long time ago. It's the first in a trilogy, and I still recommend reading it because it's really interesting and really fascinating, and this definitely does cover a virus that needs to be sort of stopped because the world needs to survive, people need to survive, so that is what this series covers, and I just really recommend it because it is pretty much post-apocalyptic, but people being wiped out because of viruses and things like that, so I just thought that this was perfect for this prompt. Board game number 8 is The Game of Life, and for this prompt I decided to go with a slice of life contemporary book because I feel like that's just perfect. And the book that I picked for this prompt is My Oxford Year by Julia Whelan. It is all about a girl going off to Oxford so then that way she can realize her dreams that she's had since she was a child, but then she also gets offered the dream job and she meets a guy, and I just feel like this is perfect slice of life contemporary drama. Board game number 9 I think is going to date me a little bit because I have not really seen this game around lately, but I ended up going with Don't Break the Ice, and the prompt for this board game is a book that left you on the edge of your seat. So the book that I chose for this one is Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff because I was actually on the edge of my seat while I was reading this. I was making comments out loud thinking, what is going on? What is happening? Who's gonna die? Who's alive? What is this? There were so many questions and so much commentary that I had on this book that if I had to pick a book that left me on the edge of my seat or that I was on the edge of my seat while I was reading, this had to be the choice. And board game number 10 is the classic Candyland. And for this one I decided to go with a very broad topic, and that is adventure books. Because with Candyland you have to go all through the journey to Candyland and you have all these little side stops and things, and that just reminds me of a classic adventure story where you have side quests but you're ultimately on this one journey to get to this one place. And I love adventure books. These are probably my favorite types of books where you have a group of characters going together to get one job done, but they keep getting sidetracked or side quests come up and things like that, so I really am excited to hear your answers for this one. But the book that I ended up choosing was Catching Stars by Kayla Keenan, because I just thought that she did the adventure narrative so well, and she also did split points of views really well. So I just thought that this was the perfect read for this, and I am so excited for the next book to come out. I don't know when it's coming out, but apparently it should be next year sometime, and I need to know what happens next because honestly, one of my favorite adventure books so far, and I just read it this year. Alright, so that was 10 board games, 10 prompts, and 10 books to go along with them. I'm going to have a massive list of creators down below, and I really hope that you check it out because I would love to see your responses. I feel like the prompts are pretty well varied, that there could be a slew of different answers that get provided for this, so I am so excited to see what everyone comes up with. And leave a comment down below too if you end up doing this and posting it on your channel because I would love to see them. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content. I put out new videos every weekend and I do some bonus videos here and there as well. And until next time, keep reading.